Shan and Tam fam, welcome to the Real Talk podcast. On this podcast, we talk about real issues. We talk about parenting, love, family, friendships, and everything in between.
It is our hope that you will journey with us through some critical conversations. We would like for you to drop us a comment, to share the conversation, and to let us know what you would like to see us talk about on Real Talk.
Shan and Tam fam, we're back with another episode of Real Talk with Shan and Tam, the podcast. And today we're gonna be tackling an interesting topic. As usual, it's just a conversation between us, and it's about feelings, sort of,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
something
So,
like that.
you know, we often go through quite a bit, whether it's in
Mhm.
the work realm, whether it's with friends, whether relationships, family, spouses, and inevitably, you have a range of feelings that comes with situations. And so what we're talking about today is how do we balance those feelings, whatever it
Mhm.
is, whatever the situation is that you've
Mhm. Mhm.
experienced, whether it's anger, frustration, sadness, even excitement,
Mhm. Mhm.
or joy. How do you balance that with all the other relationships and in particular with the children?
Yes.
Because things bleed into one another.
Yeah.
So,
It's it,
let's
it's
start with your
interesting.
thoughts.
Yeah, and
Mm,
I think this came about sis because we were listening to this book together amongst the many other books that we're listening to. We Over Me, and one of the things that he said about one of the author was talking about, he was saying that both him and his wife had a disagreement, but him and his son, they have this kind of this thing that they do when he drops him off at school. They do the like a handshake and everything and all of that. And he was talking that him and his wife, they had a disagreement the morning, and the morning got so caught up with the disagreement that he was rushing the little one to get to school. And when he dropped him off at school, because he was still so flustered by the disagreement, by everything, he forgot to do the handshake with him. So he was saying that after he picked him up from school, the little one came out and was looking so distraught. And his
mhm,
first thing was that, "Are you still upset with me?"
mhm.
And he was like, that hit him like a ton of bricks because in the midst of everything that was going on with him, he didn't realize how much he projected that on his son. And I'm like, that is real talk, because
Yeah,
when you are going through stuff, I can talk personally from me when I am having a disagreement or feeling anxious or feeling upset about something. It takes a lot of willpower to be present into the other areas of your life,
yeah,
even work,
yeah,
dealing with the children, different things that's coming up, right? It really takes a lot of willpower. And I'm like, how do we balance?
yeah.
How do you compartmentalize one area of your life that it doesn't bleed into
And
the other area? Because these little ones, innocent to them, sometimes you're just having a rough day. But
you're
sometimes we pick up
having,
King from school and he's like, "Are you okay?" Because, because
no, I'm not.
no, I've had a rough day at work, right?
Yeah,
But like it's not fair to them,
yeah,
right? But how do you balance that, right? And I was like, we should talk about this. We hear what everybody else have to say about it because I think it requires constant work.
yeah. And as you were talking, all I'm thinking is sometimes you ever wonder why some people at work so miserable? Like,
Exactly.
why are they so miserable?
Yup, like the world I done.
I
Hmm.
know, and
Hmm.
it's not the first thought for you to stop to think about what might be going on in other aspects of their
Their
lives, right?
life. Exactly. You just
And
feel like to them just miserable.
Yeah, and somebody might not be able to manage those emotions
Mm-hmm.
well. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think it happens to all of us. Realistically, there are days when you may show up for work and you just don't want nobody talk to you. Like,
Real
don't talk to
talk.
me.
Real talk.
And it's for nothing that they may have done.
Yeah.
Um, but of course, something may have happened at home or,
Mm-hmm.
extended family or something else, right? Yeah, so it really does take quite a bit for you to be able to manage those emotions. But I think one of the first things we have to do, I feel like, is to admit that something's wrong right now.
Yes, yes.
You know what I
It's
mean? Like,
okay not to be okay.
yeah. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the first step in really then trying to deal with whatever the issue is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Acknowledging that there's an issue,
Yeah.
right? Even if you don't want to go into it in detail, but say, you know what? I'm having a rough day today. Acknowledging it. I think that's a big piece.
Yeah. And it's funny when you suggested this topic the other evening,
Yeah.
you just said, let's talk about that, and we left it at that. Can I tell you that the same night I was
You're in the same situation.
I was in the same situation. I'm like, Lord, oh, what is Jenny bring down Pamiano? Because I really had to pause.
Real talk.
I'm like, this is the same thing that she said we needed to talk about. Because
Hmm.
I was mad at my son for, I don't even remember what it was right now. I seem to always be
Hmm.
mad at him for something.
Oh gosh.
And then Paige was
Mm,
trying to have a conversation with
and
me,
you
and
couldn't
I was
hear.
just like, me not
Hmm.
really want to talk to you right now. And she
Yeah.
literally turned around and said to me, if you're mad at AJ, there's no need for you to be mad at me because
Mm.
I didn't do anything. And
See it
I'm
there?
like,
See it there?
this is exactly what you suggested that we talk about.
Yes, and they pick it up.
They
They
pick
pick it
it
up
up.
and they feel it.
And I had to step back. I actually had to apologize. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
didn't
Hmm.
mean to be short with you, but
Yes.
yeah, I am upset
Hmm.
about something, and let me just give me a minute. Let me process that. So that's one of the things why I think it's the first thing you need to do is to actually admit that there's a problem or an issue,
Yes.
and then try to
Step
step
back.
back.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. And the big piece you even say right there, so sis, apologize, right? And especially to them because they see it, they understand it, and to no fault of their own, right? And acknowledging it sometimes, step back, or even tag yourself out of the situation sometimes too. Give
yeah,
yourself the space and the time to walk away, to process. Like the other day, I was going back and forth with King about doing his homework. I'm gonna say, you know what? Let me just walk away for a minute. And I walked away for about 10 minutes. I come upstairs to my room and breathe, gather myself because I know if I started getting into him,
yeah.
it was gonna be a day with everybody. Everybody did not get it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I was thinking about too, that I find that I can better show up in other areas of my life when I like spend a little bit more time by myself, just trying to reflect on what it is that I'm feeling. And
Yes,
so, what do I need to do about it in this circumstance to address that issue? But then, how am I going to move into the other space?
hmm,
Whether it's work
hmm.
or and sometimes you really don't have the luxury of making those transitions, even when you have multiple demands, right? Like you have multiple
Yes,
people coming at you for different things. But I feel that it's valuable if we can give ourselves that time and space to
it's
really
needed. Yeah.
step away from the situation, collect your thoughts, think about what you might want to do to whether feel differently or resolve that situation before you move into the next area. I think
I
that's
think
important.
yes, because it's not gonna do us any benefit, the situation or the other person, if we feel like we just need to rush through it. We have to give ourselves the space and the time to process and slow down.
Was
I'm
it?
gonna know it. No, go on, go on.
No, no. I was thinking, was it you and I that was talking about hearing about somebody who said that like when they come home from work, they their family has to give them like 30 minutes to decompress.
Yes, we were talking about it in book club.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
And that's important. I'm gonna know about you, Tam, but you ever see yourself like I go through some things and you know you're not fair behave so, but it's like
Listen to me. Thank God that
you don't
there
have the
is
control
grace
over you.
and mercy.
I'm gonna say, God, me know I shouldn't say this, me know I should not behave so, but me can't deal, me can't handle it right now.
Real talk. Real talk.
And
Crazy.
I literally sometimes see myself
Yeah.
walk it is like for walking through it and I'm like, okay, Shan, you need to step back, you need
Yeah.
to stop.
Yeah. I what grounds me in times like that or give what what causes me to give myself a little grace and mercy is the fact that God gives it to me. Because
Absolutely.
sometimes we really have to exercise that compassion for ourselves too.
Real talk.
Yeah, you might go on bad. You
Hmm.
might say some things that you're not supposed to say.
Hmm.
Okay, we're
Hmm.
all human.
We're all humans.
We make
Yes.
mistakes.
Hmm.
But I think how you recover from that too, you have to really give yourself a little grace. You have to really serve yourself a little compassion because, life is not easy.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's
And
not easy.
especially, and I know we talked last week about finances and how hard everything is, and imagine people are dealing with financial stuff, people are struggle with mental health, like the different demands that we have. Sometimes it's hard to balance
Yeah,
and to deal with all of this, right? But I like what you say, sometimes stepping back, walking away from the situation at times, and even constant reflecting or checking yourself. You understand?
yeah. I remember we had a conversation with Coach Oliver. I don't know if you
Mm,
remember this, and he
mhm.
talked about how he kept himself in that sort of positive frame of mind all the
Yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah. The three
And
C.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and he talked about the fact that, aside from the fact that he posted these affirmations about the things that were really valuable and important for him in his life, in places where he saw them all the time. One of the things that I remember him saying is that if you have to show up really at your
Mm,
best for everything.
everything. I remember that.
And how do
Yeah.
you do that? And particularly for your children with parenting and so on, right?
Yeah, that was very impactful when he said that. Showing up
Yeah,
and being present.
yeah. And this movement I feel of mindfulness is something
Hmm.
that we really do need to take seriously.
Yeah.
They practice it now even in the schools for the little itty bitty baby them. Like,
No, I serious something. I no idea. And the breathing, because we're
yeah,
not a people where I'm never growing up here. Nobody has said, take a deep breath in, focus, relax,
yeah,
breathe in, like set your thoughts. That practice wasn't the norm growing
yeah.
up. But now you see that society is embracing that, especially when you see a lot of young people are struggling with anxiety,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. I'm doing my workout very
Yes,
regularly
yes,
nowadays. And
yes.
at the end of our sessions, one of the things that we do as a part of the stretching, cooling down exercises is really just some breathing.
Breathing.
And yeah,
Hmm.
or one of our peers who kind of takes us through that every morning. One of the things that she does is she says, you know, breathe in all the positive things, all the hopes and dreams and great things that you want for
Yes,
yourself.
yes, yes, yes.
Breathe all of that in and let out all of the negative thoughts and everything else that is going
Wow,
to be
that's
a
powerful.
barrier. And I'm telling
Yes,
you, you do that 4 times, like really focus on doing that. I'm
yes.
like, yes, me ready for the day.
Yeah, real talk.
Yeah. So
And
my,
those are some simple, practical things as well, too, to help
yeah.
us to center ourselves and to walk away.
Yeah, I feel like one of the other things that we need to really probably think about doing is actually communicating how you feel
Yeah.
better.
Even to the little ones
Yeah,
in a child-friendly way, right?
yeah, which sometimes can be a challenge, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, I think it helps them too to learn those skills in terms of talking about how they feel,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
and really being able to own that, like not
Mm-hmm.
to say that, you know, it might be you might be in a situation where somebody does something to cause you to feel a certain way, but I feel that you can take the power from that person or that
Yes,
situation if
yes.
you are able to communicate to any individual that, okay, this is what has happened and this is how I feel about it. You may have
Mm-hmm.
contributed to that,
Mm-hmm.
but then
Mm-hmm.
now it's going to be my responsibility to shift that thinking or feeling,
Yes,
you know?
yes.
So to really take ownership and to move yourself in a different direction.
No, I agree. I agree. I agree, right? And communication is key as well, too, as what you said, not just to them, but to the individuals who you may be having a conflict with at the time,
Yeah.
right? And I'm always one of the things I'm also big on as well, too, is documenting my thoughts
Yes.
as well, too, sis, because sometimes the way I think not necessarily come out how we want to say it. You understand? We think it and we say something different. So even if it means beneficial to document or to write or
To
what we're
journal.
feeling at, yes.
Yeah, I know you're big with the journaling.
Yeah, man. So that it's able to come out in the right way. Right. But, it was an interesting topic. And I said I wanted for us to talk about it because I know that we're not the only ones that have been placed in this situation.
Right.
And I would really love to hear how others manage that
Yeah.
in terms of how them compartmentalize their stuff, their feelings, their emotions to ensure that what's happening in one area doesn't spill over to the next.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Definitely. We love to hear your comments. We like the messages, fam. We get them
Yes.
all the time. You might not see them publicly, but we do get them. And here again is another conversation where we wanted to hear your thoughts about how you balance, your emotions and the situations that you may find yourself in for it not to affect another area of your life. What are some of the things that you do? We talked about being mindful. We talked about communicating better. We talked about taking a step back.
Yes.
We talked about just acknowledging how you feel in the moment, owning
Hmm.
that, shifting your thinking, and
Hmm.
just trying to move into another space with a different level of emotion or different
Yes.
feelings, right? So tell us your thoughts, share the episode with someone, and
Hmm.
as always, all our episodes of our podcast can be found on Spreaker.com, on iHeartRadio Podcast. We're also on Facebook on Real Talk with Shan and Tam. That's our Facebook page. And you can also find the episodes on our YouTube page, Shan and Tam. Until next time, fam, y'all take care, walk good, and stay well.
Bye, everyone.
Don't forget to visit Shan and Tam on all their social media websites. At Sisters Shan and Tam on Instagram, Shan Tam Lodge-Lee on Facebook and check out their blogs at shanandtam.blogspot.com. Tune in again next time on Real Talk.